Hello everybody, this is Binu Peniel. You are listening to Cavenomic. Today I would love to talk to you about personal story as a pursuit of spiritual wholeness. Recently I had an opportunity within a group setting to draw my own river of life journey. This was a spiritual exercise. Our personal story is a story of our own pilgrimage, our own story of God's interaction or presence in our lives. Telling or writing or publishing our story is a sacred process that makes us aware about our own narrative and patterns. There is a great power in sharing our personal story. Have you ever processed your story? I'm not talking about the good part alone, I'm talking about you as a whole, which is a combination of both. Every one of us might be struggling with our own story. There are cultural, family of origin, specialized significance to our own story. The process of our personal story starts with making notes and organizing it chronologically, thematically, or metaphorically. In order to complete our final manuscript, we need to process our story. You also need to overcome the resistance that you have when you tell your story. You know, when I have to write 25 to 30 pages of my own personal story or spiritual autobiography as part of my doctoral work, I face a severe resistance to do that. And I'm sure every one of us will face that. There is a great fear. We are all afraid of ourselves, our vulnerability, our fear, and even our authentic self. There are many areas in our own life that we don't like to visit because of the painful or the tragic experiences we have. Now I'm touching the truth of my own life. You know, through writing my story, I'm just entering into the areas that I don't want to enter in my personal life. It leads me into fear, afraid to reveal my authentic self and my vulnerability with other people. When you write or process your story, it will tap into your emotions. It will help you find the turning points, help you find the themes, and help you tell your story. The process of telling your story, I believe, is one of the most rewarding or clarifying things that you can do to yourself and for others around you. Step into that place of discomfort and write your story of freedom and meaning. When you rewrite your story, you can also write in the perspective of wholeness and integration. From God's perspective, a pursuit of wholeness is a combination of your passion, your personality, your education, your skill, your personal life story. Writing your story can also be one of the most complex forms of storytelling. The generation is known through the power of the story. The winning or the success of a personality is centered around the person who can tell the story or who can better tell the story. It would involve merging themes, narrative flow, or recreating dialogue from your memory. You know, when I was studying psychology, I come to know about this concept called Johari window. It is another better technique to understand the relationship with themselves and with others. It was created by Joseph Luft and Harrington Ingram in very early, very few decades ago. This was basically a 4 different arena that we have. The first one is called the open space. The open space is which actually represents traits of the subjects that both the other people around you or the group that you are working with and you know, or your peers are aware about. The second one is known as the hidden areas, which represents information about you known to only the peers, or the awareness is only there for the group and you are not aware about it. It is up to the person to disclose this information. The third one is called a blind area. The person or the subject is not aware about, but the group or other people around you are aware about. The last one is known as the unknown. Both the group, as well as you have no idea about that area of your life. And both of us are ignorant. This is connected with what I see in me and what I do not see in me. Another way to understand out of our struggle and out of our own personal story is from the perspective of a triangle. Some people call this as a drama triangle. This is like three basic players playing. One is victim and the persecutor and the rescuer. And each time there is a reactions or anxiety formed around it. There is a better way, there is a way that you can come out of that through recreating your story or recreating the triangle. The common issue we will face when we write or process our stories are the difficulty to be honest. You cannot lie to yourself. You can lie to other people, but not to yourself. Many times we run from the reality. The wholeness and integration is not possible if we run from reality. Darkness will not withstand the cleansing and the transforming power of light. Light diminishes the grip of darkness over our life. Another way to do our story is dividing our life into different life periods. You can do that based on an age-based period such as childhood, adolescence, adulthood, and so on and so forth. It can also be categorized as a period of encounter with God, crisis of faith, or outcome of growth. Your encounter with God can be mystical experience or conversion experience or a charismatic experience. How God has made Himself known to you in each period of your life. The crisis of faith can be a crisis of circumstances, disobedience, or different type of crisis. There is another crisis that we face when we deal with our story is dealing with our past hurt, painful experiences. Writing your story, discover issues that caused you pain. Your memories, if it still remains in your memories, you still have those things. Those experiences have power over you. One other help that I can tell you is keep moving. Many people tell that I cannot write, I don't know. When I grew up, I tell you, I didn't have the privilege or the excuse or the luxury of the excuse to tell that I don't know. Or I cannot do it. The following are checklists to process or writing your story. Have a deadline to finish your manuscript or deadline to finish your story. Create support group along with seeking God's help to complete writing your own story. Create a draft with a chronological outlook. Explore the places, people, period, experience, emotions, mystical or charismatic, and daily experiences that you can recollect or remember. Explore the low points such as crisis of faith, doubt, relationship, losses, or things like that in your life. Explore achievement, greatness, learning, and influences you have created. Finalize your manuscript to process your story in a presentable format. Basically, as I was doing this presentation or preparing for this blog or preparing for this conversation, I've been influenced by Richard Peace, the book known as Spiritual Autobiography. Discovering and sharing your personal story or spiritual story, written published from Colorado in 1998. I believe there are many other books or information is available out there for you to go through step by step to process your story. I hope this blessed you. And please subscribe to my channel known as Cavenomic or binupenial.com. I hope you will not miss any good talk like this and you will be the first one to receive that. Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for visiting. God bless you. And you are such a great treasure, and I appreciate and acknowledge your presence and your time listening to this. God bless you. See you next week. Signing off, Binu Penial.